Hey everyone, this is Brian from Unscripted Rx, and today I want to show you how when you create an event on Unscripted Rx, it would actually broaden your event to a wider audience. Now I'm going to do a show and tell in this video, but there's two big picture ways of how this happens. The first is something called search engine optimization, or SEO, and the second is Google rich results. Now, let me show you exactly what that looks like. So if I go to the Unscripted Rx website right now, but navigate to the events tab, there's a lot of things going on this month or the next 3 months because it is recruiting season for residencies. If I click on one of the events created on our platform, like this one, what I'm going to do is show you what we do in the background. So if you right click and hit inspect, you guys can do this at home. If I go to the very top at the head and you look down in the metadata, we take all the information you give us and we additionally populate these things in the background so search engines are able to find very key things like, hey, the title for this event is here, the description of this event is here, the things for Twitter, this is what it should look like. All of those things appear in here, and it makes it very easy for search engines to consume this and then display it to anyone that's searching for things like student program webinars from Sencora. The other thing here is this Google rich results. There is a bunch of required fields that Google requires if you want to render something as a rich results. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. It's kind of random which ones they choose to display it as such, but the most important thing is having the fields available so your event can be rendered as a rich result. Okay. So now that we have that, let me actually show you this in action. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google, I have a Google website. I'm going to go ahead and type in Sencora Student Programs Webinar. And what you're going to see is that the event that we have, this is Unscripted Rx, we're not on the platform, we're just on Google, and we click on this and it will take us to the platform, to the event that you created. And what's powerful about this is it broadens the events that you create on the platform to that wider audience. And more importantly, because we populate all this metadata, if you look at the very top, the first search result is actually from Sencora, and you can see they talk about the webinars. However, because we've provided all of that metadata, you can see that that first result doesn't have all of that information. However, in ours, it knows that this event is happening in a day. It knows these descriptions and it knows all these different things. So it's a very powerful way to optimize and broaden your events, again, to a wider audience. The next thing is Google rich results. Now, I don't have an example of this because Google didn't actually render our event as a rich result, but if it did, this is how it would appear because we have those fields. So, let me see, Google events near me. I'm sure you've seen this before when you've used Google. This is an example of a Google rich result. When you tell it it is a specific event and you give it certain fields like the date, the location, if it costs something like a price, Google will actually take your event and render it in a very nice way like this card. And you can do this with other things that we can talk about in other videos. But basically, the long story short, the value proposition of creating events on Unscripted Rx, which is free, is that it will help broaden your events to a wider audience. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can email us at hello@unscriptedrx.com. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.